The biggest musical artists are on The Howard Stern Show.
Elton John, Lady Gaga, Harry Styles, Paul McCartney, Randy Carlisle, Foo Fighters, Neil Young, Billie Eilish.
Exclusive performances.
There she is, Lizzo. Bruce Springsteen.
And one-of-a-kind collaborations.
Miley and Metallica together.
The Howard Stern Show on Howard 100.
Awesome.
Hear Howard 100 and Howard 101. Activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
Build a championship fantasy baseball team with the advice of SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio.
Ronald Acuna should be the first overall pick.
Ronald touches them all.
Hear winning strategies and player projections from former big league general managers Jim Bowden and Steve Phillips.
Soto, I believe, is going to have the best offensive season he's had in his career.
Get ready for your draft by listening to our experts draft right now on the all-new SiriusXM app. And catch all of your fantasy baseball talk on Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87.
Katie McGrady Show.
I think a lot of us go through life our heads down, and sometimes we don't look up and realize that there's these people around us that are kind and that are caring, or that see maybe this moment of frazzle, this moment of exhaustion, and just be like, you know what, it's on the house. I'm going to take care of that for you. I'm going to care for you in this moment.
The Katie McGrady Show, 2 p.m. East, 11 a.m. West, only on the Catholic Channel, SiriusXM 129.
Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SiriusXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
There you go now.
I think every...
Oh, let's see. There you go now.
I think every...
Oh, let's see.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you, as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018-14868.
Hello, my name is Charlton Curry. I'm here with Frank Red.
Frank Red.
And we're covering the beautiful Golden One Center here, Northern California, the Sacramento Kings, a team that's on the rebuild. And we know back in the 2000s, they were a team that was always competing for the Western Conference. Now, Frank, they're rebuilding. What do you think they have to do to get back on top?
I think they're in the process of building culture. Their head coach has built a program in the past.
Rondo Deportes, Bonjour, Vidi Vidi Vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe. According to me and people who love the universe, what a beautiful day in the neighborhood today. It's a beautiful March the 6th, 2024. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sent you where the good Lord split you. And hopefully he didn't spit you too high. If that makes sense to you. It's full of dropping the fleet of Cadillac cars all over the universe. You can follow the Big C Sports Podcast on 29 podcast applications all over the universe. You're streaming on 4 TV platforms, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Really do appreciate that. What I love about Big C Sports Podcast is I'm very prescient. And what's prescient, Big C? Prescient means having knowledge of things before they happen, and I do realize that Big C Sports has been prescient. I told you this is it's not one day and done. It's like going out fishing. A fisherman goes out every day, and that fisherman puts the worm on the hook, and then you got to put the hook in the water in order to catch the fish. But it doesn't mean you're going to get a bite every time. But when you do get a bite, you got to let that fish put his mouth on the hook. You got to reel it in, and then let it swim away. And then once it gets tired, you reel it again. You let it swim away again. And then when it gets less resistant, then it comes back into you. And next thing you know, it's on the skillet, and you cooking it next to the collard greens, and you tearing it up because you didn't give up the first time. So last night I told you in Big C Sports Podcast, I know that sports is a billion-dollar industry. Boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. But I told you I wrote in my name in the ballot for President of the United States for 2024 election. Now, I'm a little bit perturbed. Would you like to know why? Yeah, why, Big C? Why are you perturbed? Because when I saw the ballot come in last night, I noticed they didn't count all the votes. What do you mean they didn't count all the votes? Joe Biden got the most Democratic votes, and President Trump got the most Republican votes. Yeah, but they didn't count all the Big C votes. I want to demand count all the votes. Well, just like trying to catch that fish, it doesn't always come in on the first hook. So if you believe that Big C can be the next president of the United States, give me some praise. I say give me praise. I'm not sure I'm going to die, but I'm really going to become the next president of the United States of America because I'm going to have them count all the votes. And just like reeling in that fish, sometimes you got to reel it in more. It doesn't get them in always on the first time. But I do want to say, I got some things I want to talk about today in media. Not only with Big C Sports Podcast, I got some sports I want to talk about too. But I also want to focus on some media that carry sports. I want to talk about the great Cathy Hughes and affiliation with Big C Sports. Going to be sending out information to her because the Big C team, I think with Cathy Hughes, when I talk about what I'm going to do with Big C Sports and Cathy Hughes, I think you'll understand it only makes so much sense because there's so many things that I'm able to do. But I do it with the help of my higher self, and I want the help of people like the great Cathy Hughes. It's amazing. I'm going to talk about that later when I get into Big C Sports Podcast. You know, a lot of things are going on with basketball. NBA's trying to get its run for the playoffs. We're looking forward to the playoffs. Hopefully teams will jockey in position to get a run at the NBA playoffs. We also have some March Madness coming up for Big C Sports Podcast. Going to be talking about some March Madness later in the month of March. But what I want to start saying for Cathy Hughes, I want you to realize the reason that Big C Sports and RDC should do some work with Cathy Hughes. She's the #1 black media company in the United States, and I wanted to work with Big C Sports. Give that some praise. I said give it praise. Why would Cathy Hughes and the Big C team get together with RDC? #1, I always produce the show. #2, I direct the topics. #3, I broadcast all the shows. #4, I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives. I could use more laughter. Especially Nikki Haley could use more laughter too, but on what happened to them last night. And then the commercials are done. The stats are provided. I do all the storytelling. I even do my play-by-play. And then the show's uploaded to 29 podcast applications out of New York City. And I'm in Denver Hills, California. #10, I never miss a show since working with Big C Sports Podcast back in the day at Salem Media. And that's why I want to say Big C Sports with RDC, talking to Cathy Hughes, all's fair and level. Where I'll get into that story in a little bit. But I want to make sure what I always do, no matter what happens in sports or politics, is I'm running for president of the United States. And when I'm elected, when they count all the votes, not just some of the votes, I got some of my votes coming in on CP time. What's CP time, Big C? You can Google it. You can Google CP time. Some of my votes coming in on CP time. But what's not coming in on CP time is the Veterans Crisis Hotline, because the Veterans Crisis Hotline, their experience helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know anybody going through issues, pick up the phone. Call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give it some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. And it's nice leaning on somebody when somebody's leaning back. Really do appreciate that. I want to say thank you to Xfinity Comcast TV and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then God said, let there be light. And with Big C Sports, I want to shine a light on a lot of subjects. I want to elucidate to the matter. I don't want to just be the guy that talks about who won a game. I mean, that's fun, but I don't want to just play with the balls. I've been playing with the balls my whole life. And it's okay playing with the balls. But I want to make sure we play with the ball of that pen. The ball of that pen through executive order that signs reparations now, reparations forever. That's a lot more beneficial to descendants of child of slavery than watching our athletes run up and down the courts playing with the balls. And there's nothing wrong with that. I really do appreciate being a part of a diaspora that can talk about things that matter to people, and that's what I love doing with the Big C Sports Podcast. Now, no matter what you think about Big C Sports Podcast and how I do my thing, I realize the 29 podcast platforms that carry the Big C Sports Podcast. It doesn't mean that it's for everybody. Just like some things you got to be 21 in order to order. I even bought a lotto ticket. They asked me what year was I born. I said 2022. You know, they sold me the ticket anyway. They didn't even ask for my driver's license. They said, when were you born, sir? I said 2022. And I'm running for president of the United States. You know, they sold me the ticket anyway. But you know, all's fair, love, and war. But I do want to say, I want to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force because in my mind, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And if we don't do it, then who's going to do it for us? I know we have the Oscars coming up, and we're going to have the black bourgeoisie. They can't get ready. They can't get ready fast enough for the Oscars to go down there and get ostracized. They're going to ask the Oscars to give them an award. And here the California Reparations Task Force are trying to give them a bigger award than a piece of gold-plated whatever that statue made of. But they don't show up for this, and that's why Big C will. I told you, I'm running for president of the United States, even if I only have a few people that believe in me. That's all I need is a few good people. And count all the votes! But I want to count all the votes for the California Reparations Task Force because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. What I want to have in my cabinet, I want to have Attorney Camila Moore. She's the chair of the California Reparations Task Force. She's brilliant. I want to have Dr. Amos C. Brown. He's the vice chair of the California Reparations Task Force. He's brilliant. I want to have the number one senator in the United States of America. That's California Senator Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. He also sponsored Name, Image, and Likeness that helps student athletes get paid in college for their name, image, and likeness. He also helped create the Ebony Alert that helps law enforcement put the same amount of resources into finding missing black children that the Amber Alert puts into finding missing white children. And he's part of the California Reparations Task Force. And he said I have a really nice suit when I went to his office. All his family. I want to give praise to him. I want to have also in my cabinet council member Monica Montgomery Steppe. She's brilliant. Really do appreciate her. I want to give praise to Assembly member Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I love giving praise to him. I want to give praise to Dr. Shell Grills. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I want to give her some praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California Berkeley. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to give praise to Attorney Donald K. Tamaki. He's brilliant, part of the California Reparations Task Force. And as a descendant of Japanese American interned in the internment camps, he's also got his reparations. And I want to give them all praise. I want to give them praise. Really do appreciate that. But I also want to believe that sometimes when somebody gives you a compliment, I want to give the compliment back. I want to give praise to certified financial planner and investor Marilyn White. I met her at a Martin Luther King rally in 2024 and struck up a conversation with her. She's erudite, well-read, very knowledgeable. with financial services and investing. And I spoke out to her today. She said you have a really nice voice and you have a great program, and I really do appreciate that. But also, I believe that if we can do what a few good people do all the time in this country, you get smart people to sit down and break bread. I like breaking bread over collard greens, if that makes sense to you. Some people, they say there's too much juice that gets on your suit. But I like to sit down, and more than breaking bread, I want to share knowledge. And if we can share knowledge with enough good people, imagine what comes out of that. It's like a gumbo. When you have gumbo, and it tastes so good, I don't need a napkin. In fact, when I grew up, when my mama made gumbo, we would hide the napkins. She said, "Why are you sucking the gumbo juice off your fingers?" We say, "Mama, because it's finger licking good." And then somebody just stole that mantra, and they sell chicken. But you think KFC is finger licking good? You should try my mama's gumbo. I mean, you don't need a napkin. We would even lick the bowl. Gumbo's so good. Anyways, I believe that's what it should be like when you meet smart people. So I appreciate that. Marilyn, really, really do appreciate talking to you, and look forward to meeting up with you soon and just talking about opportunities that we can do and come across in order to help people. And I want to give that some praise. I want to give it praise. All fair and level world, but I do believe when good minds get together, good things come out of it, just like a good plate of gumbo. Also, I want to thank Double O on my team. She's a payout committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. And she sent me this order that President Biden signed into office, his first day in office. It was executive order. You can Google it, 13985, on further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. That's called the White House. And when I become president of the United States, it's only going to happen if they count all the votes. You got to count all the votes. What did POTUS 45 say when he lost? He said, count all the votes. I'm calling every governor in every state and say, count all the votes and make sure you see the letter C. That's what big C. You don't even have to learn how to spell big. Just spell C. Like Donald Trump, they wrote C on the applications if they wouldn't want to rent an apartment to black Americans. They call them colored people back then. You can Google it. They wrote C on the application. He lost a lawsuit over that. If I can't beat that, then I don't know what to say about Americans. But anyway, right in the big C team on the presidential nomination. They still got the votes coming in. I really do appreciate that. So I want to just say that. I also want to thank the Georgetown University. They pledged over $1 billion and counting for 272 families, descendants of chattel slavery, that were sold off to pay off the debts for Georgetown University. When I become president of the United States, not only do you get free sports talk, but you don't have to sell your children to pay off debts. What, Big C? What you said? Yeah, you can Google it. Georgetown University. They were selling black men and women and children to pay off the debts to build Georgetown University. And now when people think of Georgetown University, they think about basketball. It's in the same city as Washington, D.C. How in the world did they beat President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris in announcing reparations? The black vote got President Biden in the office, and the black vote's going to get Big C to become the next president of the United States, and I'm going to pass reparations on my first day. No more time to study. You don't got to study nothing. Just get that checkbook ready. Fair level work. I want to praise Double O, the payout committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. She sent me this article from the United Nations. It said that strong leadership and political will are crucial in order to prepare for reparatory justice, which is what reparations is. United Nations is behind it. So that's why I say I don't know why our current administration is pretending like the group that got them into office doesn't know that they didn't pass reparations yet. But you know who's going to pass it when I get elected? Now you got to count on the votes, but Big C will pass reparations. My running mate is Snoop Dogg, and he's more passive. He's more quiet, more calm. I'm a little bit more bombastic. That's a perfect combination. He's going to bring Martha Stewart in to get the white lady vote, the suburban white people vote, and we're going to become the next winning team. You got to give that some praise. I want to thank T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network, proud sponsors of Big C Sports. I want to thank PNC Private Bank, proud sponsors of Big C Sports. I won $6 billion, and I'm not shucking or jiving. I want to tell you why. There's some things I want to get into with sports, because all of it's based on having assets. And with the Big C team, when you give me your vote to become the president of the United States, what I want to do with everybody all over this great country, whether you understand it now or whether you don't understand it with my best English, you can't say you didn't hear it. You know, don't hold me to what I'm saying if you don't vote for me, because I'm going to give everybody $1 billion when I become president, no matter what color you are. But you got to be an American citizen. You got to be an American citizen, unlike the Homestead Act that gave white people over 300 million acres of land in 1862, but you couldn't be black. You could only be white or white European. They told us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. And you know what? I listened. Give listeners some praise. They said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. That's one of my inauguration speeches. The other one is reparations now, reparations forever. You got to get that some praise. I'm serious about it. Why vote for the Big C team to become the next president of the United States? I told you, you get free sports. Your family and spouse can avoid the spin down for nursing home costs. You can find out your options. Our promise to you. Why Big C and RDC? We specialize to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits, protection of your assets without a spin down in California. Other states, they have a look back. But all paperwork and communication with all government agencies are handled by our staff of entitlement specialists. You get more than just a sports show. Ongoing consulting to provide updates as necessary. You get benefits covering skilled nursing facilities, prescriptions, medical equipment costs, and more. Why join with the Big C Sports in the RDC? Because you have protection of your assets, if that makes sense, dear. Achoo! Excuse me, the allergies in California give me some time. Sometime if you live in California long enough with all the trees, you will have sometime you get the what's called allergies. But when you take allergies medications, it can protect you from having the sneezes. Just like RDC protects your assets. You got to make sure you do that. I'm working on a commercial. It's called Protection of Your Assets. Aflac. No, Aflac is gap insurance like the duck. Aflac. No, I don't hire ducks for my commercial. I hire people. There's no artificial intelligence taking my job. I don't hire ducks to do the show. I hire a real person. His name is Little C. And he works with Big C. Give that some praise. We got to protect his assets, if that makes sense to you. And that's why you work with RDC and Big C, including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family, avoiding the nightmare of debt brought by the government's estate recovery program, which could be up to 40%. That's why you need the Big C team and RDC to protect your assets, if that makes sense to you. You don't walk around with your pants down, and you don't walk around without your assets being protected. We have a one-time processing fee versus monthly insurance premiums for the rest of your life. You got to give that some praise. When I become the president of the United States, we're going to tell you more about a guide to protect, preserve, and transfer wealth through RDC, long-term care, solutions by the book, over 3 decades of experience, Medicare and You, taking care of tomorrow, and in California it's called Medi-Cal. I'm going to get into more of that, and I'm going to tell you also why with the Big C team. You professional athletes, you got to know this, and a lot of you, after you retire within 5 to 10 years, sometimes you say, what happened to all that money? It gets sucked out of your pocket like a vacuum cleaner sucks out dirt. Everybody comes around you, they want everything your ass has made. You got to make sure you protect your assets. And for you business owners, asset protection, insurance coverage required by law, general liability, workers' compensation, lawyers specializing in living trust, Medicaid or Medi-Cal planning for long-term care, avoid probate, and life insurance products. We have it all. If you have those fixed assets, your fixed assets, if that makes sense to you, like your bank account, checking accounts, savings accounts, money market accounts, certificates of deposits, life insurance with cash values, fixed index annuities. What about variable assets? Big C, you protect that. We protect your variable assets, if that makes sense to you. Real estate, qualified money, IRA, 401k, and other investments. Now, you a business owner. If you are a business owner, you got to find out your other options to protect what your insurance does not cover. Oh, Big C, my insurance covers everything. Oh, no, it does not. And a lot of people find out the hard way, especially in California. Down in LA, in Southern California, they had what's called floods. And a lot of properties were washed away. Do you know if you do not have a flood insurance, when you go to make a claim, they will tell you, well, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, we know you had a beautiful $1 million property. It was gorgeous. Well manicured lawns. You had all the upgrades. You even had a golden shower. But you didn't have flood insurance. What? I thought my insurance covered everything. No, it didn't protect. It didn't protect your assets. If that makes sense to you. And when you had that $1 million home washed away, and you have a lot of stress, and it causes you to need long-term care, you know your insurance policy doesn't cover that either. What? They said to protect all my assets. No, they didn't. That's why you need the RDC to protect your assets. How we get RDC? 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. And when you do, you want to give us some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. I really do appreciate that. I want to touch on something that I'm very passionate about. You know, it's March Madness, and a lot of people are getting ready to play sports. But for you business owners, when I tell you why RDC and why Big C should become the next president of the United States, I told you to get free sports all over the world, not just the United States. But will you believe that New York they reintroduced draft legislation to explore the possibility of offering a public long-term care benefit financed through a payroll tax on most workers in the state of New York, similar to what just happened in Washington State, and is most likely going to sweep the country. So if you're an employer, you're going to have to learn to offer long-term care. About 99% of the people don't even know how to do that. I've met a lot of financial planners. They don't even know how to do long-term care as an entitlement. It was signed into law by Lyndon Baines Johnson in 1966. Standing by his side was Martin Luther King Jr. President Harry Truman tried it for 20 years. It was signed into law by Lyndon Baines Johnson. Why do you learn that by listening to the Big C Sports? Why do you hear more than touchdown, home run, three-point play? Old man Willie, he's going all the way. You don't hear what I just told you on ESPN. You don't hear it on NBC Sports. You don't hear it on Fox Sports. You don't hear it on CBS Sports. You just don't. Why do you hear it on Big C Sports? Because I'm so serious about what I'm saying. And that's why with RDC, it's more than just a sports show. You can listen to ESPN, Fox Sports, ESPN 1, ESPN 2, Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, CBS, NBC. You can listen to all of them, TNT. All they're going to do is tell you about some jock and playing with balls. Now, there's nothing wrong with playing with balls. I've been doing it my whole life. But the ball I want to play with is the ball of an ink pen. That one that helps you protect your assets. I want to say why Big C Sports, I'm so serious about this. The power of one. Cathy Hughes, you can Google it. As founder and chairperson of Urban One Incorporated, formerly known as Radio One Inc., it's the largest African-American owned and operated broadcast company in the United States. The great Cathy Hughes' unprecedented career has spawned a multimedia conglomerate that generates original content, a lot like Big C Sports, across the spectrums of radio, television, and digital media. Think about this. Her humble origins beginning in Omaha, Nebraska were not a deterrent to her success, but rather a part of the catalyst that fueled her ambition to empower African Americans with information to tell their stories and their perspectives. That's what I do with the Big C Sports. That's why I want to have the Big C Sports team with Cathy Hughes. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And formerly Urban One, which is now known as Radio One. Imagine Big C Sports coming to Radio One because I'm on so many platforms. But what about what I said when I started the show? When I was a young boy, my mother started a Head Start program and a food program to feed people and to make sure that people became learned, more erudite. And she would oftentimes serve gumbo. And then, to her dismay, sometimes her children would eat the gumbo and suck the juice off her fingers. And Mama would say, well, that's why I put the napkin on the table, son. I said, Mama, I don't need a napkin. This gumbo juice tastes too good. So we would just suck it off our fingers. And, Mama didn't like that in front of her uppity church buddies and, all that stuff. But all family boys, they were sucking their finger. They're sucking their fingers too. But when you think about Big C Sports and Radio One, Urban One, think about it. Cathy Hughes, a dynamic media pioneer who demonstrates the power of one woman, one vision, one company. Urban One, formerly known as Radio 1. Just like Big C Sports, I told you, I do it. I'm one beautiful, intelligent black man. I do it all. I produce it. I direct it. I don't have a teleprompter. I don't have none of that stuff. At the same time, I give God all the praise. Give God the praise. And I want $1 billion. I'm not joking about $1 billion. Big C Sports becoming a $1 billion corporation. You watch. It's going to be done through financial services. I was prayed over by a psychic. Almost everything she's told me to come true. I swear to God. And she said, this is what I'm going back to what I'm saying, why Big C Sports with Cathy Hughes and Urban One. As founder and chairperson of Urban One Inc., the largest African-American owned and operated broadcast company in the nation, Hughes' unprecedented career has spawned a multimedia conglomerate that generates original content across the spectrums of radio, television, and digital media. Her humble beginnings in Omaha, Nebraska, not a deterrent from her success, but it fueled her ambition. Hughes began her radio career in her hometown of Omaha, Nebraska. I think a guy by the name of Warren Buffett. Is it Warren Buffett? Yeah, he lives in Omaha. At KOWH-AM, a station owned by a group of African-American professionals. In 1971, she moved to Washington, D.C. and became a lecturer in the newly established School of Communications at Howard University. During her tenure, she served as general sales manager at WHUR, Howard University Radio. Oh my God! I worked at KCNS Campus News at Sacramento State. I was the only black person at the news station. I produced, I direct, I edited, I broadcast, I did all of it. You see, God brings things together. And then increasing the station's revenue from $250,000 to $3 million in her first year. She also became the first woman vice president and general manager of a station in the nation's capital and created the format known as The Quiet Storm, in which revolutionized urban radio and was aired on over 480 stations nationwide. You got it. I just want to give that some praise, because if you don't hear it on Big C Sports, you're not going to hear it on ESPN, you're not going to hear it on Fox Sports, CBS Sports, NBC Sports. And why is Big C Sports different than those shows? Because I offer employment. If you're a licensed agent, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. Join the Big C team. Not only can you do sports, but also with RDC, we help you get into financial services, and not many people can say that. But I want to say why Big C Sports to join forces with Cathy Hughes. Think about this. She had an innovative format, 24-hour talk from a black perspective. With the theme, Information is Power, she served as the station's morning show host for 11 years. In 1999, the great Cathy Hughes became the first African-American woman to chair a publicly held corporation, following the sale of more than 7 million shares of common stock to the public. Since that time, she, along with her son and business partner, Alfred Liggins III, has grown Radio 1 Inc. into a multimedia company that is an urban radio market leader with over 56 stations comprised of hip-hop, R&B, gospel, and talk radio formats. I want to give that some praise, because at Big C Sports, I'm more than just sports. I'm a place of employment. I'm a place of some religious scriptures. And also, I want to give you work. I want to create opportunity. A lot like Ida B. Wells did back in the day, in the late 1800s. But Radio 1 is the first African-American company in radio history to dominate several major markets simultaneously, and is the first woman-owned radio station to rank number 1 in any major market. Its success has earned Cathy Hughes hundreds of prestigious awards and recognitions, including the AD Color Lifetime Achievement Award, the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation Chair's Phoenix Award, the NAACP's Chairman's Award, and the Giant of Broadcasting Award, the Uncommon Height of Excellence Award, the Essence Women's Shaping the World Award, the Ida B. Wells Living Legacy Award, and an introduction into the American Advertising Federation Hall of Fame. You got to give that some praise. That's why Big C Sports and RDC want to join forces with Cathy Hughes. I told you, these companies, you're going to have to start having long-term care. 99% of the people don't even know how to do it. Even financial planners don't know how. It's an entitlement. And you got people going broke trying to take care of long-term care responsibilities because they don't have the missing ingredient. What's the missing ingredient, Big C? 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. See, I'm not joking about becoming the president of the United States. It's a fact. You don't hear this stuff in other shows. Today, think about this. One woman started with a vision. Radio One is the parent corporation of several subsidiaries. TV One, the premier African-American owned cable television network in the country, and currently home of the hit shows Unsung, News One Now, and the reality show R&B Divas, Reach Media, which presents syndicated radio programs like the Ricky Smiley Morning Show and the Tom Jordan Morning Show. Interactive One, home of several popular websites, including The Daily Grind, and Hello Beautiful, Hello Big C should be next, and One Solution, a marketing firm that allows advertisers to take advantage of all the assets. I would be remiss if I didn't include this commercial. It takes care of all the assets. That's part of RDC. I'm the only sports show in the universe. When I talk to you with RDC, I talk about how to protect your assets. You got to see the writing on the wall. The sky is bluer when certain people show up in life. I want to just say it's important to me. I want to finish this part about why Big C, the Big C team, and RDC with Cathy Hughes. Cathy Hughes' philanthropic works are on par with her success in the business arena as well. Her passion for education is evident in her efforts to continue her family work and legacy at the Pine Woods School in Piney Woods, Mississippi. She's a staunch supporter of the school, which was established by her grandfather in 1909, in the days of Jim Crow, and is the largest of only 4 African-American boarding schools in the country. In addition, she's a champion for the hungry. Big C, I feed people every day. And she's a champion of the homeless, a mentor to the countless women, and an advocate dedicated to empowering minority communities. I want to give her praise, and that's why I want the Big C team to join forces with Cathy Hughes. It's important. I want to do that like you wouldn't believe. It's so important. I want to be a part of that. I mean that with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. I want to touch on something, too, that goes back to giving back to the community. And I want to pay homage to my university, Sacramento State University. Would you believe that Sacramento State University, which is known as California State University, Sacramento, it launches Black Success Initiatives and Black Honors College. This is given to me by Brother Aleem, who also is the co-chair of National Black Wall Street Project and the owner of Crescent Sports Media. And the university enrolls the highest number of black students throughout the CSU system. I did not know that until Brother Aleem sent it to me. And when you think about it, there's so many people that are looking for opportunities. The Supreme Court killed affirmative action. They said that we finally caught up to the wealth gap that was created by the Homestead Act only being given to white people in 1862, and from slavery that began in 1619 until 1865. So the Supreme Court said we finally caught up to the wealth gap advantage that white Americans got. So they said there's no need for affirmative action. We finally caught up. Who believes that? There's a $14 trillion wealth gap. Where do you think it started? You know, there was a graduate that saluted his family in a crowd at Golden One Center during the commencement for Sacramento State back in May of 2023. A goal of the Black Student Success Task Force is to offer numerous resources to increase the amount of black students earning a degree. You know, if you're a young, talented athlete, they will come find you. They will give you food, clothing, and shelter as long as you lift weights and you run up and down the fields for them and you play with balls. The better you are playing with balls, the more likely you are to get a scholarship. If you're not good at playing with balls, you better learn to use the ball and that ink pen, like the one that I'm using to help create jobs and long-term care asset protection through RDC. A nationwide decline in black student enrollment and retention rates, the California State University system wants to support its black students, the community, with the new Black Student Success Task Force, just like the California Reparations Task Force. that will implement a first-in-the-nation Black Honors College only at Sacramento State. You got to give that some praise. That's my alma mater and also my son. The Black Student Success Task Force at Sacramento State will advance black students on campus by focusing on recruitment, retention, achievement, graduation, and issues with belonging. How do you fit in a society that says, we love you when you play sports and when you entertain? Have you not been entertained? When you can sing and dance, we love you. And you know it's true. That's why the wealth gap existed. Not only did slavery create a wealth gap, but white families could bequeath land and resources onto their future generations. And then, if that wasn't enough, the United States Congress came in 1862 with the Homestead Act, giving over 300 million acres of land to white people, and even white Europeans. They told black people no. And you're a black person standing in line for the Homestead Act, and Congress said, no! It's not for you! Remember what Scarface told Manolo in Scarface when he wanted to date his sister? And he said, she's not for you, man! Well, that's what Congress said to black Americans. And then the Supreme Court, if that wasn't enough, they came together last year and they said, we don't need affirmative action. Everything's even. Everything's even now. That's why you select Big C as the next president of the United States. Everybody gets $1 billion. You get free health care, free life insurance, free food, free mortgage. I'm going to eliminate all college debt. And you get free chocolate. That's enough in itself to vote me president. And you get $1 billion. And you heard this before, no new taxes. I said, read my lips, no new taxes. No new taxes. You heard that before. So don't look at me side eyes. It's important because with the addition of a Black Honors College, the success rates of black graduates at Sacramento State will be refocused as they are given the specific space and resources to succeed. And in the Black Student Success Task Force, Sac State's Vice President for Inclusive Excellence, Amia Settles Tidwell, is the cabinet-level sponsor of the Black Success Initiative, which seeks to improve the future of black scholars. And she said, we actually enroll the highest number of black students in all of the CSUs in California. And she said that means we're drawing and attracting black student athletes the way a lot of white colleges, they go after student athletes. But this is about being a student. CSU enrollment data shows that Sac State has approximately 2,000 black students, the highest number of black students across all CSU campuses. I want to give that some praise. That's important because when you think about it, I'm going to give you the top 10 CSUs for black students in California. As of 2023, Sacramento State, 1,939, Northridge, 1,814, Dominguez Hills, 1,634, San Francisco State, 1,453, Long Beach State, 1,429, San Diego State, 1,385, Cal State East Bay, 1,046, San Jose State, 1,026, Cal State Fullerton, 1,013, and CSU San Bernardino at 949. So it's part of a CSU-wide 2025 initiative for graduation, which ensures that all students have the chance to earn a college degree, regardless of racial, ethnic, and financial background. And then it also states that black students were not always allowed to get an education, let alone a higher education. And for people that say, oh, there you go, trying to divide people again. Those same people didn't understand the Supreme Court and the Homestead Act. They divided people. You know, slavery divided people. It created tremendous white wealth. And not one of those white families that got land and resources and money bequeathed, not one of them said, I want to give it back. Not one family, not one white family that had inherited land that was created for their family by the Homestead Act. Not one of them said, you know, that was an unfair advantage. I want to give that land back. Not one of the white farmers that the USDA gave loans to and even pays them not to farm. And they told black farmers no. In fact, they let a lot of black farmers go into foreclosure so a white farmer could buy them up. They didn't give that land back. Not one of them. And you know, Einstein said the eighth wonder of the world is compound interest. Not one of those white families gave that. And they didn't give it back. Not only that, the government hasn't even passed reparations to make amends. So black students weren't always getting an education, let alone a higher education. Historically, institutions were not designed around black students. Settle Tidwell said it was illegal to learn how to read. Think about this going back to the days of slavery, when slavery ended, and Reconstruction. When you finally fought to get the education and be included, you're already behind in a system that was not educating you about their system too. Once black students were able to attend school, they were immediately falling behind in the system. And when you think about trying to make up ground for past inequalities by providing a supportive educational community for black students in higher education and getting jobs, the Supreme Court says we don't need affirmative action. So Settle Tidwell said the caring community on campus motivates students to enroll, and the support from the task force encourages current students to finish their degrees. You got to give that some praise, because I am one. I remember all the things that I went through growing up. I always believed I could do anything. But no matter how much I believed that, in my major, predominantly white students, and I never had a black professor at my college. I did work for a black man by the name of Bill Seamster in the media department, but everybody else was Caucasian. And when I graduated, I did my internships, but I was one of the only one. I got all A's in my major. I was the only one that did not get a job by a media department or a media company when I graduated. And I graduated with honors in my major. And I'm the only one, beautiful, intelligent black man. Just like now, I produced the shows, I directed, I wrote, I edited, I did the lighting, I did the field reporting, I did the broadcast, I did all of it. I didn't get a job. Most of my white friends did. And I did more than they did. And that's the same way in corporate America today. Most places you go, your employer is a Caucasian person. White women, through affirmative action, civil rights, they walked into management positions. And that's the way to this day. I challenge any white person that says, "Oh, we don't need no special initiative for black kids." When they go into the workforce, most everyone around them is Caucasian. 9 out of 10. And some people say, "Well, that's how it should be." I don't believe that. With 13% of the population, should at least be 13% of every job force. That's why with the Big C team, I'm egalitarian. With RDC, when I offer opportunities, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. I do it for everybody. Doesn't matter to me what color you are. My business partners are black, white, Native American, Hispanic, Asian. Because I'm about fairness, not just talking about it, I'm about being about it. Give being about it some praise. I love that, and I always want to just advocate for that. Because I know that sometimes people, they need to see someone who looks like them to feel that they can feel like they have an opportunity. And I for one, I want to be the one that either leads, follows, or get out of the way. And I believe in leading. And that's why I love doing what I do with Big C Sports Podcast. I don't want to sit back and say, well, somebody should do something, or they should do something, or they won't let us do something, or they won't give us an opportunity. I believe in creating that opportunity, but I know as a beautiful, intelligent black man, sometimes I got to try a lot harder than some of my white counterparts, shucking and jiving. Many times I worked for them, they didn't even have a college degree. They were just white. They got in through cronyism and nepotism. And they knew it's true. My first job when I graduated college, I was very proud of myself. I worked for an insurance company. I had a white manager. He was not even college educated. He was white. When I worked at my first media job at a big cable advertising in the Bay Area, my first manager, she was white, not even college educated. I'm not saying this because it's not true. It's factual. So people say you got to work hard, get an education, and someday you're going to be somebody. But I'm done all my life just working hard to do the best I can, whether it's in mortgages, financial services, no matter what it is. You just gotta rise and shine every day. I don't make excuses, I rise and shine, but it hasn't always been easy, but it's possible. And with God's favor, I can do anything. That's why I say Big C Sports will become a $1 billion corporation. And it's all right there to happen. It's all right there to happen. But why RDC, Big C? I told you. Charlton Curry, Big C Sports, the Big C team, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. Consulting with RDC, all around the country helping people get employment. That's important. And sometimes you can say, oh, you just another person out there. You know, RDC is endorsed by Mr. George Jones, ESQ, Esquire, chairman of the California Black Chamber of Commerce, California Chamber of Commerce Foundation, Mr. Leon Woods, resource development consultant, one of the top lobbyists in California, Ms. Cheryl Brown, the chair of the California Commission on Aging. She endorses us. Mr. Ray Delacruz, CEO, resource development consulting. Mr. Alex Delacruz, founder of American Veterans Benefits and Big C team. And also on board by the National Black Wall Street Project as a co-chair. Give that some praise. Look at the great work for everybody. Because it's possible. That's what I'm so passionate about with Big C Sports. It's more than just a sports show. I know the sports are out there too. You can find guys chucking and jiving, insulting each other over whatever they want to insult each other about. But I want to say as I close out today's show, it's important that what I'm doing, it's not about me. What I'm learning is my goal was to help 1,000 people go to work this year. We're in the process of getting people contracted, 1,000. But now, it's a lot more than that. Because when you do good things, then God will expand your horizon. It's not about me, myself, and I. It's about we. And part of my commencement speech when I become the 47th president of the United States is ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do to protect your assets, if that makes sense to you. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. There's a retired athletes. There's some lessons that they've learned from their financial victories and agonizing defeats. Retired athletes too often face financial ruin. According to reports by Sports Illustrated, this is why you should work with the Big C team. I know you have your sports agents, but what I'm going to tell you, it has to stop people from going broke. If you learn to protect your assets, unless you're just crazy. But Sports Illustrated reported approximately 78% of NFL football players either go bankrupt or face some serious financial stress within 2 years of ending their playing careers, while 60% of NBA players are broke within 5 years of retiring from the game. Now, more recent data from the National Bureau of Economic Research estimated that 2% of retired football players, they file for bankruptcy within the first 2 years of retirement, and almost 16% by year 12. While professional athletes may reach superstardom in their arena, their lives outside the stadiums can often be difficult and wrecked with financial strain. And in some instances, when it's time to hang up the jersey, those $1 million salaries can disappear like a vacuum cleaner sucking up dirt. And many retire with nothing. And that's a shame. One would think that making hundreds of millions of dollars over the course of a career would be quite the nest egg to live out the rest of your non-working years. But the reality for a lot of sports athletes and entertainers, it can go away real fast. Because I've been around a lot of athletes in my lifetime, when I first started working around the Oakland Coliseum and the Oakland Raiders, I'm telling you what I saw. You see some of the most beautiful women in the universe. They will flock to those men. I know men do it to ladies too. And some of these ladies say, "Oh, you're the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my life. Damn, you're sexy." I've seen it with my own two eyes and heard it with my own two ears. But the opposite of that is true too. Some women, when you become successful, you have some men that show up and say, "Baby, I've never seen anybody with an assets like yours. If I could just get my hands on your assets." And to some ladies, that's all they need to hear. They'll lay down with you. Especially if you're good looking enough and you got game. Everybody needs love, but you need leader. Leader is love is the answer. if someone loves you, they won't take advantage of you. They won't pull the wool over you. Leader is the answer. It's an acronym for love is the answer. But oftentimes, a lot of professional athletes and entertainers, I think Taraji P. Henson was saying that she doesn't get paid at the rate that some of her co-workers do. And for our black actors and actresses going to the Oscars coming up soon, you know, and your white counterparts know it too. As a white actor, you make more money than your black actors. And you know it's true, not because the black actors want to make less, but the system that creates opportunities in Hollywood, it wasn't designed for you. Unless you're playing a drug dealer or some criminal or some prostitute or somebody who's a menace to society, or if you want to be an entertainer, if you think about destruction and self-perpetuated genocide, they'll make you rich and famous. Just talk about running through women. You wanna smash every woman in the universe. How many women you can smash? Get them hooked on your whatever you want to sell them. They'll make you rich and famous. Men and women. You just got to think about tearing down your society, and they'll make you rich and famous. You know it's true. Even Bill Cosby talked about a Faustian contract. People Google it. With Big C Sports and the Big C team, you don't have to sign a Faustian contract. And all I want to do is open the eyes of people. And I love doing that with the sports show. But when you think about some of the athletes I've met, and I know a lot of them, not name dropping, but a lot run across money management problems that are not unique to everyday people who work a 9-to-5 job. So you may not have the same kind of pressures that somebody has when they have $100 million. You look good to everybody. Everybody wants a loan. They want you to invest money in their project. All we need is $1 million. This guy gave $1 million. That guy gave $1 million. That guy gave $1 million. Are you going to give $1 million too? And next thing you know, that money is sucked out like a vacuum cleaner sucking out dirt. Don't let it happen to you. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. Because you got to learn to protect your assets. You know, I want to finish today's show with a speech from the greatest speaker in the history of the United States. And he talked about my inauguration speech, going to get a check. You can't say you don't believe in reparations when you hear Dr. King.
In time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. This is what we are faced with, and this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
Give that some praise. I said you got to give that praise that Big C Sports needs to be the next president of the United States, because I'm the only one that's telling you that. You're not going to hear that from President Biden. You're not going to hear that from pro-Trump, whatever it is, but you do hear that from Big C Sports. That's why I say vote Big C in the ballot. That's my story that I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink, because mothers against drunk drivers are mad. And fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You could call Uber, you could call Lyft, you could walk it off, you could sleep it off, but don't let someone you love get behind the wheel of a car after they've been drinking and start driving the life may be your own that you save or someone you love. That's my story. I'm taking with it. Well, back by popular man, my beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. If you know anybody going beside your head, call 911. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. Anybody that loves you, they would never go upside your head and say it's your fault. Call 911. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He's known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. With all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali would say, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. Every time I listen to Big C Sports, I'm going to go reparations now, reparations forever. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And as I always tell you on every Big C Sports show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day. Well, hold on, Big C, you didn't salute President Abraham Lincoln and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Oh, that's right. I want to always make sure I do this before I end up every show. I do want to become the next president of the United States. It's not over. It's not over until you count all the votes. Count all the votes. If I got to call every governor to count all the votes and tell them that Big C Sports says, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country, and that means count all the votes, if that makes sense to you. What did President Abraham Lincoln say for President Biden in 2024? If you don't do it, let Big C do it. Sign reparations now. Sign reparations forever. Come on, y'all. You cheer louder at the football game. I said sign reparations now. Sign reparations forever. Say it one more time, like my vote depends on it. Big C should be the next president of the United States of America. You can do it by signing reparations now. Signing reparations forever. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a super fantastic day.